Passwordstate is an enterprise password manager used by a wide range of industries from banking to defence, software companies and MSPs. My name is Lee and I'm one of the support staff here at Click Studios, and today I'll give you a quick tour of our software. This video you are about to watch is very similar to our online live demonstrations we do for our customers, which will first run through the core product, which is the Password Vault, and then we'll explore some of the extra features which leverage off this vault. Passwordstate is software you install on a Windows operating system, and this can be on-premise or on a cloud-based server in a service such as Amazon or Azure. It's effectively a self-hosted website, which means your users access it directly through any browser rather than installing agents across your fleet. Everything in Passwordstate is permissions based, not only access to password credentials but also many of the features as well. As an example, all of these menus you see on the left can be controlled via permissions. So if you have a specific user or group of users that you do not want to access a certain menu item, then you can either disable it or completely hide it from them. This pane here we call the navigation tree. In here is where you'll see any folders and password lists that you have access to. In our software, a password list is a container that will store one or more passwords of a similar nature. These password lists can be configured differently to store different types of data. An example could be one password list will store website logins, and another can store credit card information. Folders in our software are used to store a logical collection of password lists. Typically a folder would be the name of your team or department, but it really can be anything that makes sense to you. Access to folders, password lists and even individual passwords are also permission based and can be granted to an individual user or instead to an entire security group. We support Active Directory security groups, but also have our own local security groups built in that you can use. This navigation pane will look different for each user depending on what data you've given them access to. We have two types of password lists for you to use, which are called shared lists or private lists. Shared means multiple people can be given access, which is a great way of collaborating with your team. And private lists are designed to only store your own personal passwords, such as social media accounts or personal banking information. If you click on a folder or a password list, the body of the website will then display some relevant information about that object. For example, with a folder, you may have some encrypted documents uploaded to it for quick and easy access, or maybe even some links that are relevant to that specific folder. There's also a search box on this page that will allow you to quickly find a password that is stored anywhere beneath this folder. Clicking on the password list will display a different set of information, and the focus of this page is on the grid containing all password records that are stored within this list. This list, for example, has over 1,000 local administrator accounts for laptops in my organisation. We only see the first 10 on this page, but there is a search box to help you find the exact password record that you're looking for. Below the grid is a recent activity section which contains all the auditing events for this particular list, with the most recent events being displayed first. Things like opening a password or copying a password to your clipboard will be logged in this activity grid. On the right we have some charts which shows activity information and password compliance for this particular list. Once again, these pages can be customized based on permissions to remove activity or statistic charts, which can make for a simpler UI for the end user. On this page is where you'll manually add, view or edit existing passwords. You can quickly view or copy the password directly from the grid, or opening up the password record will present you with more information. If you have the correct level of permissions, you can make changes to any data on this screen. Apart from adding passwords in manually, there are automated ways to get passwords into your system, which can be importing via a CSV file, using our API with a custom script, or a feature we have called Discovery Jobs. Discovery Jobs can scan different types of systems like Active Directory, or maybe Windows or Linux servers. When these Discovery Jobs find accounts, they will automatically add them into password records for you. When creating a new list, there are many settings you can configure to encourage strong password management and to suit the data you'll be storing in them. Examples of encouraging good password management are the ability to assign a strong password generator and a strong password strength policy. Or maybe you can deny users from saving passwords if they are a known bad password, which can help prevent brute force attacks. Under the Customize Fields tab, there are some standard fields which can be enabled or disabled, and a mandatory setting to force users to populate specific fields when adding in a new password. We also have up to 10 generic fields which can be configured if the standard fields don't suit the data you're hoping to store in this list. An example of this could be a custom text field to store in email addresses, or maybe you could choose the select list type, which gives your users the ability to choose from some predefined data from a drop-down list. Floor 1, Floor 2, etc. There are also some predefined templates that you can copy from, which configures all these fields for you depending on the purpose of the password list. One example of this is a credit card template, which allows you to store specific information about credit cards, such as the credit card type, expiry date, and account number. For each password record you have, there is also an actions menu with more options available for you. Things like copying and linking passwords to another list, or maybe viewing the history of the password changes for that particular record. In the navigation tree, you can drag and drop password lists into the root of passwords home, or perhaps another folder. Or you can also drag a folder with multiple lists into another area of the navigation tree. Depending on how you have permissions set up in your system can mean the permissions may change automatically when you drag a password list around the navigation tree. And speaking of permissions, there are 3 levels you can apply to password lists or folders in your navigation tree, which is View, Modify, and Admin Permissions. Admin access gives the user full control over the folder, password list, and any passwords that they contain. This means they can change permissions or settings on the folders and password lists, as well as make changes to the password record data. Modify access gives the user full control over the passwords, but no ability to change settings or permissions. And View access just gives the user read-only rights to the password records. Typically, admin permissions would be used sparingly, with Modify being the most common level applied. View permissions would normally be granted for people like contractors, who you want to give them access to passwords, but you don't want them to be able to change them. There's 2 ways of applying permissions throughout the system. With our standard permission model, you'll set the permissions on each password list. If those password lists are nested inside any folders, the users will automatically be granted permissions to those folders as well. So all users will have the same consistent view in their navigation tree. With our advanced permission model, this allows you to set permissions on the top level folders, and that access will automatically propagate down to all nested folders and password lists beneath it. It's also possible to break inheritance anywhere within this folder structure, which can then allow you to tweak permissions at that level, similar to how an NTF file system works. If you want to grant permissions to a single password, this is also possible. This will mean the user will see the password list with the password record you've given them access to, but none of the other passwords stored within that list. Permissions can also be granted for a specific amount of time, with the ability to automatically reset the password when that access expires. You can also set up password records for exclusive access, so only one team member can know the password at any given time. This feature, called Checkout Passwords, can also reset the password for the account when the exclusive access has ended. As Passwordstate is also an enterprise privileged account manager for systems like Active Directory or Windows servers, then passwords on those accounts can also be automatically reset out on those remote systems when you update them in Passwordstate. This means when a person's access has expired or their exclusive access ends, then the password will also be updated on the remote system as well, which can save you an enormous amount of time in administering your network devices. We'll talk more about privileged account management later in this video. Over time, you may end up building up quite a lot of data in the system, and for this reason, we've built in a search function to help you quickly find this data. If you need to filter on a specific folder or password list, you'd run your search from this field in the navigation tree. Or if you have a password list or folder selected, then this search box will concentrate on finding the data only within this object that you've got selected. But we also have a global search field up in the top right hand corner which will find data across all of your password lists, and it can also be used to quickly highlight a device on the network so you can quickly remote into it. The global search box also doubles up as a password generator, which can help create and set random secure passwords for a website or an application that you may be working on. For compliance reasons, we have a lot of auditing in the software. Just about everything you do in Passwordstate adds an auditing record, with over 110 different types of events being tracked. All auditing events can be found under the administration area, and this is where you can trace specific events that have occurred in your system. For the more important events, you may want to be notified immediately as they occur, and we have live email notifications for this. We have over 50 different email notifications that can be sent out, and each of these can be turned off completely or only sent out to a specific user or group of users. Passwordstate also comes with 49 predefined reports which can be run immediately or scheduled for a time of your choice. These reports will be emailed to yourself, but also you can CC in other users or an email distribution list. These reports are normally configured directly within the user interface, but they can also be run via our API as well. As with all good password managers, you also have the choice of many different types of authentication options to gain access to the system. Options such as SAML, Google or Microsoft Authenticator, YubiKey, or maybe even push notifications with Duo are available for you to choose from. Again, as Passwordstate is role-based, you can set authentications for different groups of users. We also have a break glass feature we call emergency access, and you would use this feature in the event you've accidentally locked yourself out of the system. ClickStudio support can assist you with recovering these emergency access details upon request by following a specific secure process we have for this. Backups are also a critical feature many of our customers take advantage of in case you would need to restore in the event of a disaster. Our backups feature, once set up, can send backups to a remote network share on a regular basis, and it can also split out the contents of the backups to separate network shares for security reasons. Branding is another feature you can use to change the look and feel of your Passwordstate UI to better suit your company. It's easy to change color schemes, backgrounds and logos to reference your corporate branding to make it look like it was specifically built for your business. Not only are we a password vault to store your passwords in, but you can also upload and share documents within our software securely too. All documents are stored and encrypted directly within your Passwordstate database, so only people you have explicitly given access to will be able to view and edit these documents. You can also control who you want to upload documents into the system and what type of documents can be uploaded. Sharing out documents is the same as sharing out passwords. You just grant another user or group access to the place you have uploaded your documents, and they'll be able to download and access them just as if it was coming from a file system. Finally, in the vaulting side of things, I'd like to talk a little bit about security. Security of your data is something we take very seriously and have many different mechanisms in place to help protect your data. ClickStudios does not have access to any of your data, and we do not host any customer data ourselves. Everything is installed and hosted on your servers. There are also many different built-in security features to help prevent an attacker gaining access to your data, all of which can be found on the Secure Code Secure Data page of the ClickStudios website. Now it's time to talk about some of the additional features that can leverage off your Passwordstate vault. As you know, Passwordstate is a great way to securely store and share passwords, but we also have a number of extra features that make administering your environment easy. We'll start with Active Directory integration. Our integration with Microsoft's AD allows you to log into Passwordstate with your standard domain username and password that you use to log into your workstation every day. This feature also allows you to set permissions up via Active Directory security groups, which makes it simple to control access to sensitive data. You simply add or remove a user from an AD security group, and their access to passwords will be granted or removed accordingly in Passwordstate. This makes it easy when onboarding new employees or contractors, and you can quickly revoke access when they leave. We also have local security groups if you do not have Active Directory to sync with. Active Directory integration also feeds into the privileged account management features we have in the software. Our built-in tools allow you to discover and automatically manage accounts with elevated permissions that are being used on your network. We support many different types of systems such as Active Directory, or local Windows administrators, or maybe even Linux admin or root accounts. We also manage many different admin accounts on firewalls or databases, or switches such as Cisco, HP, FortiGate, Oracle, SQL, and more. It can take just minutes to set up privileged account management, and then it's fully automated. This will save you a lot of time so you can focus on more important tasks on your network. Once accounts are added into the system, they can have their passwords recycled on a regular basis, automatically and fully audited. A built-in heartbeat feature can alert you if there are any passwords out of sync with the remote device, and reports can be scheduled to run at any time to get a snapshot of how compliant your systems are. As the password reset feature is designed around the use of PowerShell scripts, it provides a flexible architecture where customers can modify the default scripts or build their own to meet the requirements of their own infrastructure. We also have an incredibly easy way to build custom scripts for devices that use SSH for connection. You simply list the SSH commands you would like to issue and then add in any success or error messages that the device may return. No scripting knowledge is required for this feature, so if you have an SSH system that we don't natively support, you can easily manage the admin accounts on that device. Utilizing the privileged account management features can save you hundreds of hours in labor costs. An example of this can be when an IT employee leaves your company. With the click of a few buttons, you can reset all of the passwords he or she has access to since they were last reset. Unfortunately, some places do have rogue employees, and if you do need to reset critical passwords quickly, this can take seconds in our software. Another popular feature is the ability to request access to passwords, and these requests can be approved by one or more people in a workflow type process. Access can be granted for a specific amount of time, and passwords can be configured so the users have exclusive access via our checkout check-in feature. Once the user's access expires, the password can be automatically reset. Passwordstate also comes with 2 remote session launchers. These launchers allow users to securely remote into remote hosts, such as servers and firewalls, without the need to authenticate manually. Instead, it will pull the credentials securely from the vault and pass them through to the remote session. The types of connections we support are Windows RDP and any form of SSH. We also support Telnet, VNC, Microsoft SQL connections, and TeamViewer. If using the browser-based remote session launcher, sessions run directly within any browser on any operating system. All sessions are proxied through your Passwordstate web server with the ability to install this proxy gateway separately on any server of your choice. Sessions can be recorded and played back at a later date, and there's no plugins required to be deployed on the remote hosts. Another great feature of the remote session launcher is the ability to give someone, like a contractor, access to a server or a device without them actually knowing the password they're connecting with. This way they can perform the work they need to do without knowing your critical admin passwords. The next major feature we have is our iOS and Android native apps. You'll find these in the relevant store to download, and when installed will synchronize with your core Passwordstate website, caching any data you have access to on your phone securely. These apps support biometric authentication, and they come with an offline cache. This can be handy for a couple of reasons. Maybe one of your techs is at a site with no internet access. They can still access their passwords on their phone whilst at this site. Or maybe you do not want to expose your Passwordstate website on the internet. In this scenario, your users can still cache their passwords whilst they're in the office and then access their passwords securely when outside of the network. The cache in the apps can be configured to last up to 30 days, at which point the data will be automatically destroyed and the user will need to sync it up again. Other features within our apps are they can automatically fill credentials into sites on your phone, they have a dark and light theme, and they can also be configured to work through a VPN. Now we will move on to the next feature, which is our browser extensions. These are a popular feature with any type of user, from someone in HR to the sysadmins in your IT department. We have browser extensions for Chrome, Edge and Firefox, and the Chrome extension will also work with any Chromium-based browser. These extensions will automatically save any website credential that you enter. When returning to the site, the extensions will then automatically fill in the username and password, and it does this securely by retrieving the credentials directly from your Passwordstate vault. You can also generate random passwords and apply them to sign-up pages on any website that you visit. Apart from convenience, using these extensions is one of the best ways you can encourage your users to use a different password for every website they have a login for. Having the extension saving and autofilling the data for you means you can have strong, randomly generated passwords for each site instead of using the same password everywhere. This is a trap people can fall into simply due to the abundance of passwords people need to remember, so using our extensions can make using a random, strong password easy for everyone. The extensions can be downloaded from the relevant online store and can even be deployed to your fleet en masse using something like group policy. Another feature that can make your sysadmin lives easier is our API, or Application Programming Interface. Our API allows you to automate a lot of functionality that you see in the user interface, but via a script. Anything from updating a password to running a report, or maybe building a folder structure for a new department. APIs are crucial for the ever-busy sysadmins who need to automate repetitive tasks, and we're always adding new functionality into this feature. One last feature I'd like to talk about is the self-destruct message tool. This tool allows you to send critical data to any user of your choice, no matter if they have a login into Passwordstate or not. When they receive the message, they will be able to view it securely for a time of your choice, and when that time expires, the message is destroyed. This self-destruct portal comes pre-built into the core Passwordstate install, but you can set it up on a separate server, possibly in your DMZ if desired. Everything we've discussed so far is just some of the major features available to you in the core Passwordstate install. We do have additional modules available to trial upon request, so that you can test these out at no cost to you. These modules are a password reset portal. This portal allows your domain users the ability to reset or unlock their own AD password. Your end users can do this from any network connection, on any device, and all activity is fully audited and can be reported on. This tool allows your help desk to reset a user's password on their behalf without having direct access to the Active Directory tools. It also allows them to investigate why an account would be getting locked out, which can help if a particular user keeps getting locked out of the network. Our high availability module allows for a second production instance of Passwordstate, having data being replicated in real time. This way, in the event one of the servers becomes unavailable for any reason, your users can instantly access a second server, which ensures your critical password data is always available. And lastly, we have a remote site locations module, which allows you to install an agent on a remote air-gapped or firewall network. This agent will perform all privileged account management inside that network and is all managed centrally from within your core Passwordstate website. The browser-based launcher integrates with this remote site module, which means you can RDP and SSH into machines over on that network too. If you'd like a trial of any of these extra modules, please click on the link in the licensing page and our sales team will be in touch with the key and some instructions on how to set these up. That brings our demo to an end, and we hope our software makes managing your passwords, accounts and sensitive data much easier and more secure. Passwordstate is free for 5 users with all the enterprise features enabled, and when you first install it, it comes with a 30-day trial for unlimited users. If you have any technical questions during your trial, our support team will be happy to assist. Please just log a support call through our main support page, which can be found on the Click Studios website. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.